Good evening, y'all. It is 6:58, so we're going to start the broadcast in 2 minutes. So if you are watching the replay, just go ahead and fast forward 2 minutes, and then that's when we'll start. In the meantime, those of you who are not interested in fast forwarding, I guess, my name's Gary. Jolly Roger Ukulele. This is Wednesday night members meeting, and so what that means is, it's funny, I do this, and then I wait about a second or two, and then I do it over on the other screen. Lag is a fun thing in the internet. What was I saying? My name's Gary, Jolly Roger Ukulele. We've been doing these online courses now for a long, long time, and I'm going back through all of the stuff on the member side to update the sheet music primarily, and to check to make sure that I wrote the best thing I could have written at the time, that I wasn't. A lot of times you rush around and throw stuff out because it needs to be done, and maybe it isn't as good as it could be. And so I've been actually kind of pleased with overall how nice the sheet music looks, and so. Then as we go through them this week and over the next months and whatever, I'm updating the sheet music a little bit as we go along, just to make sure that you guys have the best possible stuff to work from. So what we're going to be working on today, let me pull this up. It's on your list, on your playlist. Here Comes the Sun. We're going to finish that up today. We've been playing the last couple weeks. All My Loving we started last week. We'll play it this week and next week. And then we're going to take a look at Hey Jude. So I think we are getting an awful lot of Beatles knocked out on purpose. And the idea here is to think about building a set of songs that you might love them, you might hate them, whatever, but they're good arrangements, good solid pieces of music that other people might recognize. I'm notorious for playing songs that nobody's ever heard of. I love them, but a lot of times it'd be nice to just have a set amount of music that people would be like, oh, I love that song, right? And then you give them your version of it. So that's what we're working on. 7 o'clock. I see Rita has wandered in. Rita is one of my favorite people. She spent many, many, many hours with me during the pandemic. We have never been in the same room together at the same time ever. Up in near Chicago, and hunkering down for a snowstorm. I saw on the news. It's really interesting. The country, for the western part of the country, is pretty clear and nice. The eastern side and the northern side is just just crazy. They got all kinds of tornado warnings and stuff down south. It's really, really a wild weather pattern, and so I'm glad you're here, Rita. I'm glad you're somewhere safe, right? Being among your ukulele people. Also, I have been doing a bad job of getting emails out, so maybe somebody comes and watches, maybe somebody doesn't, but for whatever reason, we're going to do this. Rita and I and whoever else happens to show up. Lots of times people are showing as being watching but not logged in. If you're logged in to Gmail, you can use the chat bar in the Google account and in your YouTube account, and it's great. So there we go. All right, I think that's all I have really to say. Let's pull out Here Comes the Sun. And I happen to be holding a ukulele. If you're holding a baritone, you will be on chords, and otherwise you're going to be playing one of two things. You're either going to play the melody, if you're a newer player and you're still getting up to speed with tab reading. That's your job if you're newer and you are playing, needing to just get comfy playing the music. And then if you are a more advanced player, been around a little while longer, you're going to be playing the chords. Okay, so no, I shouldn't say chord. You're playing tough uke. All right, and so with this piece of music, almost every piece of music I put online, there's usually a line where you could sing and strum the chords, and I typically put the open chords on there. So even if the chords go up the neck on the finger style section, I put the open chords here because you might want to sing and strum it, right? You might want to take it to your hum and strum group. Little darling, it's been a long and long cold winter. that's how you would typically play it in a ukulele strum along. We just do some other stuff with it. So then we add in the melody, and we have some people who are, sometimes we do harmonica with that instead of singing, and then all of the time we do a tough at uke section, which is finger style. Okay, now let's take next. Let's take what I happen to know will be the problem on this song. Let's go to page 2 really quick. Edmonds, Washington, cold, no snow, at least at sea level. Well, I did see a big old green swooshy thing headed into the west coast. I think it was more south maybe, but glad you're here. All right, on page 2 of Here Comes the Sun, measure 19. Okay, when we get here, we're going to slow down because it's crazy. But at measure 19, you got no problem, right? 2, 2, 0. And then the next one is absolutely crazy. Index finger on 8 and middle and ring finger on 10. Now pay attention about the shape. Obviously, who knows what chord it really is? Who cares? We care about this shape, okay? And that shape, all we have to do is get, it's your E minor, E flat shape right there, okay? But we're up on 8. Okay, and that's how I think almost all fretted instrument players think, is what's the shape and what is my anchor fret. In this case, our anchor fret is number 8 with the index finger. That puts these other two on 10, and then you're ready to play the next measure. And then you go to just don't move anything except slide the whole thing down to 3. Okay. Next shape is on 3. Remember, this is anchor finger on 3, so we put a half bar on there, middle finger up on 4. Okay, and that is this hardest part of the song. Okay, the other hard part of the song happens at 26. So if you look at 25, it starts the same way as we were at 19. So at 25, 2, 2, 0. And then you're going to put a half bar on the 1 and your middle finger on 2, and then notice your picking pattern changes a little bit. 1, 2, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 3, 0, 0, bum. Okay, so that way, the thing to think about those two sections, those are really the main hard parts of the song, is that you have from here, kind of a base point, then you're going to do this shape, bring that same shape down here, this shape, and then when you get to it, you're going to do this shape, which is a mirror of that shape. Okay, so one time it is on 3, 3, 4, 4, 3, 3, 4, right? Yeah, 4, 3, 3. Say them upside down. Okay, and so that's what's going on in that little hard section there. We'll go slowly through that. This is our last week to play it anyway, and so we want to get it as close as we can. What do you do when you get lost? Or get to a part where you can't play it? I will be completely honest. Last Christmas for the Rocky Mountain Ukulele Orchestra concert, I got one of the pieces that I helped arrange was called Jesu Joy of Man's Desiring. And I had no problem playing the whole thing, except for 2 measures, which repeated 3 times. And those were just too dang hard. And I should have caught it when I was arranging it initially and fixed it, but it just got popped by me. I thought, at the time, I thought, oh, people will be able to play this. But it was really not playable. And what was interesting is, and it's exactly what I want people to do, we got to that section. Most people just stopped playing to get through those 2 measures. And then a few people kept playing. And that's exactly the people who were really, who had worked on it, really got good at it. And then you could hear them playing. It just got real quiet, really kind of a cool moment, and then on to the next thing. So if you get to a part and you're like, this is too hard for me, maybe pick one note in the measure, or maybe just skip the measure and go to and get ready on the next measure. It's perfectly fine and very musical. It happens in real orchestras all the time. So please don't think that's a failure. Think of that as being a smart musician. Pay attention to your repeats as we do this. Hey Kat, welcome in. Good to see you. Cat's one of those down there. Well, it seems like everybody's in a dangerous weather place lately. But I specifically saw that Cat's hometown is looking a little dicey weather-wise. So stay in there, Cat. You've been through this a zillion times. All right, from the top, pay attention to your repeats. We won't go fast. We're going to make this pretty. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Three. Page 2. Back to number 1. Go. Second ending. 2. Isn't that lovely? It's really lovely. It really works. I made a ton of mistakes, but it really, really works. And really something that you can turn into a neat piece of music. I'm really happy with that arrangement, to be perfectly honest. And if you just get that one little section where those things are so brutal, you really have something. I'm gonna, when I clean up this sheet music, which I'll be reposting it now that we've been through this 3 times, and I've sort of found all of the things I want to do just a little better, mostly secretarial type things. So when we get together next week, I'll remind you, or it'll come on the website automatically. So you should get an email saying, "Hey, there's a new version," and then you'll know to go replace your current version. I think there's nothing wrong on here, right? There's just some secretarial cleaning up that needs to happen, and every couple of years I update sheet music just because you get better at things and you want it to be nice. All right, we're gonna switch to baritone, play the same song. All right, baritone version. That is a very large baritone. Let's play it with this baritone. All right. Now, if you are on ukulele, most of you have ukuleles in your hand. Your job is to play the chords, okay? And if we're in the room together, you're super helpful, right? Because you're D, D, G, A7, right? But with your shapes. So it says here, make this D chord, right? But you're on ukulele, so you have to make your regular D chord. It's a great chance for you to double check that you know your chords. Okay, so here's your D chord, here's your G chord, here's your A7, right? And so you're playing ukulele chords using just the names. Don't pay attention to the grids, or a weird sound will happen. And then, so you're playing chords if you're on ukulele. If you're on baritone, obviously you're either playing melody or you're playing tough uke. Okay, and again, I'm going to straighten up and neaten up some of these secretarial items on this song, but there's nothing on here that I'm going to change that's an actual melody problem or an actual songwriting problem. So the piece is correct as is. So even if you don't update your sheet music, it's still going to work great. All right, so same exact thing. Hey, Elizabeth. Going down. Yeah, 13 tonight in northern Colorado. Yeesh, 13 below. That's cold. I'm in Albuquerque. We're going down to a brutal 28 tonight. So sorry. I don't know. I don't consider it winning, by the way. All right. You just have to look out the window and go, nobody wants to be here. All right. Here we go. From the top, same thing. Play the whole song straight through as written. I'm loving the sound of it with my thumb. I always tell you guys, hey, practice with your thumb down and then practice with your claw picking. One of those, some songs lend themselves to one or the other. Make sure you're practicing with both ways so that you have choices. Okay? 1, 2, here we go. Too fast. Go. nice. Feels like when you get to the end of 54 and then jump into 55, there might need to be a little bit of something else there. It feels a little bit weird, just sort of like thonk, right? But I don't know. Maybe that's how the original song goes. I just don't remember. Cat says sounds nice on baritone. Well, it helps if I play more of the notes correctly. I figured out that, generally speaking, my problem is I play the wrong note sometime, and it doesn't help. I don't know if you've ever played the wrong note when you're playing a piece of music, but it turns out that it doesn't sound as good as the right note. It also seems like a rather unfair requirement to play all the notes correctly, but that's sort of how music works. I don't spend a lot of time losing sleep over it, but the more notes you get right, the better it sounds. So, and it does sound, it does sound nice on baritone. That's one of the things I keep kind of pushing on you guys. Hey, make sure you own a ukulele and a baritone. Some songs definitely baritone. Some songs definitely all songs ukulele, right? But sometimes a baritone really works out, and especially if you like singing, having a baritone that drops in underneath your voice, super helpful. Jazz, yeah. I play a lot of jazz. I don't really like jazz, but boy, I sure play a lot of it. Whatever the nearest note is, the correct note's only half a step away, right? All right, let's see. Let me make sure I know what I'm talking about here. The next song we're going to take a look at is "All My Loving," and so let's go grab the ukulele version of "All My Loving." Now remember, if you only have a baritone, or if you're only working on baritone these days, there is a baritone ensemble version of this song, which means that you can play along with me on the ukulele at the same time. So if it says baritone ensemble, that means the sheet music is designed to be played at the same time as the ukulele music. If it just says baritone solo, it's meant baritone plays its thing and ukulele plays its thing, but they don't play them together at the same time. So if somebody's playing ukulele, then the baritones have to do chords, and if baritones are playing melody or whatever, then the ukulele has to play chords. Okay, so it's clear in my mind what it is, but I don't necessarily know it's always clear on the website. Again, there'll be some updates to this one, all secretarial type stuff. There's some very minor changes that need to happen to this song, but I'm not going to change anything. So the sheet music you're working on here is good. Okay, so we talked about it last week, and as I'm reminding you guys, anytime you're working on sheet music or working on a song and you're like, what in the heck is this, or how do I do that, please drop me an email. I happen to be very bored sitting down here in the high desert with nothing to do, and so I love to get emails from you guys saying, hey, I'm working on this song that you arranged, and I need to know more about measure 17 or whatever. And so please, don't be shy about tossing me an email and asking me if you see something you want to talk about, or if you just want to let me know how things are going. I love those. We talked about that this, for the most part, is a book one song. There's not, other than the rhythm here, this isn't a super hard song to play. And when you get a song like that, and you're like, oh, thank goodness, we don't have to work very hard. What you want to be working on is tone, right? So more than just getting the notes right, because you're going to get the notes right probably, we want to be talking about getting good tone and trying to tell the story and trying to be lyrical. Close your eyes and I'll kiss you, right? Instead of close your eyes and I'll kiss you, right? That's a very different feeling. There's times and place for both of those ways of playing, but as you're thinking about what's in the paper here, be a little bit, honor the lyrical nature of things. Try to be more than just counting, which is important on long notes with no lyrics. But when you're actually playing the song, it's nice to be able to hear the words in your head and not mimicking the Beatles, but at least trying to get your singing voice to come through your ukulele. I think people know when you can do that. And that's usually, I get you to intermediate level pretty fast in ukulele, but it takes a while to get to that upper intermediate level where you're actually playing music, where it actually sounds like music rather than just hitting the notes. Okay, so again, if you are on baritone, grab the baritone ensemble version so you can play with us. We'll play the baritone solo as well in just a minute. But what you're talking about here, if you're a singer and you take this to the strum along, close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you, kiss you something. Remember I'll always be true. Okay, let's talk B flat again. I love it. Most of my students that have been around recently, you're going to do a full bar there, and you know why, because there's going to be, every time you do a B flat, it feels like the next chord is going to be this B flat, and it's just easier to do a full bar. However, on B flat only, doing a partial bar, that's how I was taught, right? Is partial bar and then here and here, and so I still do it all the time. I catch myself doing it all the time. It's better to do a full bar when you see B flat, but a partial bar is going to happen. Okay, and so you can see why we have the open chords there. That's for singing, and then down whatever happens in the tough uke happens, right? And so you got to get better at reading this. Now this song does not have any chords up the neck, so you're fine, right? There's one chord kind of up the neck. All right, and then if you're brand new, and you're not brand new, but if you've been around not near as long, just play the melody. It's a very important skill. If you go to the ukulele orchestra, that's what you do. You play melody. Sometimes the melody makes no sense, but that's all you do is play one note at a time. Most orchestras, most of the instruments can only play one instrument at a time. So the entire reed section, the entire brass section, they can only do one note at a time. And so that's a legitimate way to play music, right? And so yeah, be kind to yourself when you're playing this stuff, and play. Always take time to just play some easy stuff too, right? All right, a lot of talking for nothing. All right, all my loving. We'll honor all the repeats, and let me make sure I know how the repeats go. I do, and then here we go. Okay, ukulele version, baritones. You have an ensemble version if you'd like, or play the chords. Okay. 1, 2. Back to 1. Page 2. Back to number 1. 1%? Did you get them all? I got most of them, right? Feels pretty good to play a song. It's a real legit, pretty good song, right? That's not super hard. And so, yeah. All right, I'm going to grab a baritone. Okay, I'm going to grab, and so now you go look at the baritone solo, All My Loving Baritone Solo. Beatles on the ukulele. All right. Same exact thing. It's been chilly-ish here, so I always wear this jacket. We're trying to save electricity, and I look ridiculous in every broadcast, but whatever. All right, I'm going to play the baritone version. Now, there is no ukulele ensemble version. So ukulele, you're playing a minor chord, D7 chord, G chord, E minor chord, C chord. This is the dream come true for ukulele players. Look how lovely these chords are. But they're on a baritone sheet. Okay, so again, make sure that as you are working on your stuff, that you're also paying attention to what would I be able to play these chords if I couldn't look at the grids? And that's what the baritone sheet music does for you. You have to ignore the grids and just look at the name of the chord and try to remember, okay, do I know that chord? Do I know that chord? Do I know that chord? Now, probably if you actually finish book 1 and book 2, there's no chance you wouldn't know all of these chords. Okay, and so you should be able to just keep a nice, lovely 4-beat pace with us. I don't know if you 1, 2, 3. Close. Let's see, what would it sound like? Close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you. Remember, I'll always be true, true, true. All right, there you go. That sounds pretty good. Just a simple arpeggio underneath it. Okay, I don't know. Do what you want. Chunk, 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 chunk. Here we go. Okay, focus, Gary. 1, 2. Top. Page 2. Sorry. Back to the top. Okay. There you go. We talked about last week, if you can't do this big stretch, 2007, right, at measure 30, okay, I can do it. It's not easy, but that's what you're looking for. Part of the reason why I love these chords is this is not possible on a guitar, so we get to do chords on ukulele that they don't get to do. Second reason I like to do it is it just looks like you really know what you're doing. If you watch Jake Shimabukuro play, his chords are always right, and the reason, he's got enormous hands and a small instrument, and he can do really cool sounds out of that, okay, that require you to be all goofy like this. But if that's not going to happen, just forget the 2. Just play the 7 and play the bottom 3. Right? It sounds fine. It really does. It sounds fine. It's not as good, but it's fine. All right. Questions, comments, or concerns? All right. So that's the, well, yeah, I got to switch instruments. So those are our 2 songs. Now next week we'll ditch. We won't play Here Comes the Sun again. I'll post it online with the new sheet music. We will play All My Loving as our last time through that song. So this week, dig into this. You should be able to knock this out. This should be no big deal, right? And it sounds good. And if people listen to you play this song, they would know what it is. They would like the song, and you got a pretty good chance of getting top to bottom with a minimum of number of goof ups. And so this is really set up for you to be your opening piece of your Beatles set down at the coffee shop or up at Red Rocks or the, what is it, the Los Angeles Bowl? I don't remember what they call it. Wherever you're playing next. And this would be a piece that would be like, yeah, this is a no-brainer. All right, let's go to Hey Jude. Let's talk about this and see what's in here and see. We've got 10 minutes or so to go over it and just take a look at what's here. And now, I always like to say this with Beatles stuff. Don't let what's in your head tell you what's on the paper. Do it the opposite way. Whatever's on the paper should be in your ukulele. Okay, and you can always go back through and adjust that to make it a little more like the Beatles. But really, what I want you to do is understand what's on the paper here. Get your head around what's here and what's not, how it's different than what's in your head, and all of that. And then we can always go through, and if you don't like something, you change it, right? But a lot of times with the Beatles music, they have 4 players, and those guys were pretty good at what they did. And you have you and a ukulele, and so it's not a fair fight, right? You're going to lose. But what we want to do is get you to lose in your way and to get this as close as you can to what you want it to be. I will also say, and I shouldn't say this out loud, but I do not like this song, and so it is, in my mind, just one of these songs that you hear from time to time. You're like, oh, please turn the station, So it's a good song. It really is, but for some reason, it just drives me bananas. All right, so we'll talk about this as a ukulele piece, but of course, baritones, you have exactly the same thing on your sheet music. That's not true. That's a complete and total lie. Let's go through each of these because they are designed to be played together. I forgot. I made an ensemble version with Tough Uke where they can both be played together. And usually when that happens, I do this on harmonic music all the time. I have the guitar piece and the ukulele piece, and one or the 2 of those is going to be really good, and one is going to be almost impossible to play because of they're both playing in the same key. Most of the time, if you're in a key of C or G, they're okay, right? But when you get into other keys, it can be a real problem. And so the key of D, I don't remember. I bet the baritone on this one's going to be pretty hard to play, but I bet the ukulele one won't be terrible. Although looking through it, there's plenty of stuff to keep you busy. So we'll talk about the ukulele one, then we will talk about the baritone one. Okay, so the ukulele one, the first thing I see is a D chord, so I'll put that on, right, and hit the Hey Jude 202, and then you got an A chord, okay, 02. Now you see this shape a lot, 1013. It's just a fancy G7. There's emphasizing this G sound here in an A, because it's going to resolve. Anytime you see an A7 where it's emphasizing that G, Okay, it's needing to get from that G to the D usually. Okay, and so in that case, you want to make sure your index is planted on the 1. You're going to probably use your ring finger for the 3, and then your pinky's going to hit that 5. Then you come down the line. Okay, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Don't try to use 4 fingers. It's never going to work. Just put a bar on. Okay, you could, if you were trying to get more of a campanella feel to it, you could put your pinky to work and do that whole thing there. I know I won't do that, but you could, right? You could. Okay, I'm going to do, right, and the chord will stop in the middle of that, whatever. Okay, then we go on, measure 5, you got a G chord. Okay, and then you got a nice bar on 7. So make sure when you hit something like that, make it longer than it says. It's supposed to be it's a 16th note, right? Which means you're supposed to go blank and move on, but make it longer than you're supposed to. 5 4 5 2 chord, okay, and then you got some open playing here. Whoops. 1 and 2. A chord. Well, it's a D chord. So here's an interesting thing to pay attention to. Okay, it's a D chord, but it looks like an A chord, right? You put this A chord on, and you're like, what? Okay, but the reason that works is better. I call it an appoggiatura. Da-dum, right? Ba-dum. I think that's the correct word. Elizabeth will let me know if I'm using that word incorrectly. Ba-dum. A lot of times in classical music, it's ba-dum, right? And so one of those, I can't remember. One is, I can't remember. Those each have a different name, but think of it as, if you say appoggiatura, you sound smart, right? So you got ba-bum. So you kind of want to drag that one up. You'll end up upside down, but it's okay. That's kind of, do that, okay? And then you go back to the top, of course. Come back down, 2nd and 3rd repeat, start at measure 9, same exact thing. Blah, blah. Now let's go on to measure 10. Okay, got a nice D7 here. Bwam, you can hear like, now we're going to change the idea. And whoops, and me. Time you feel the G chord pain. Hey Jude, re page turn frame da 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 A7 dum dee There's a great place for a pull off. Anytime you see 2-0 or 3-0 on the same string, you can just do a pull off. It sounds cool every time. And then wham, 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 da. And then you're going to repeat the same idea. 2 5 2 strum 0 0 3 G chord strum 5 2 5 strum 5 2 0 3 A chord strum 2 0 3 strum 2 2 0 2. Got a nice D7 here. Just use your bar. Whoops. A7 with the pinky on 4. Now that's a place where I'm for sure going to be chasing my pinky. I usually tell you guys, hey, don't chase your pinky up and down the neck. But in this case, I totally would, because I'm going to slide it also. Okay, so that's what I would do here. Okay, now you could do the opposite of what I'm saying and do the correct way, but I don't think you get anything out of it. And I think if you slide your pinky there, that makes more sense. This is a rare case where I'd say chase your pinky down the neck. And the reason, and another reason is, look at your last thing in or your first thing in 21. You have the ever famous A7 on 5. Okay, so your pinky's on 7. And then you get this big old complicated chord here. Okay, now just think about what this is for just a minute. I just had a student doing a bar on here, which works, but I don't do a bar there. I just put my index finger on the 5 middle finger on the 6, I've got my F shape, and then these two fingers go on strings 1 and 3 in the next fret up. Okay, and really, what are you playing? You're playing an E7, not on 1, not on 3, but on 5. And that's what's going on here. This is going to come up a lot, especially when we get to Tin Pan Alley. Okay, so we've got your E7, F7, G7, A7. That's what you got there. Sha na na na, sha na na, bong bong, hey, or hey, Jude. Again, that sends you back. Okay, second and third time around, it's going to be the same, except you're going to finish the ending up here. Okay, so go to 22, put your A7 on again. Okay, and then we're going to slow it down real fast, and real quick. Hey, Jude, bum, 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 bar chord and pinky on 5. Okay, so the ending kind of rushes in a little bit. Probably could have done a little bit more with that, but I think it's good. Okay, so guys, if you're on ukulele, that's all you work on this week. If you're newer, don't work on that. Work on playing the melody in proper timing or learning the chords. Both, right? Both. Now, rarely are you going to find where I do a complete baritone version to play along with the ukulele. I remember why this happened. I wrote Hey Jude out in baritone for somebody else, and then I came in and I wrote Hey Jude out for somebody else on ukulele, and it just turned out that they happened to be in the same key, and I was like, oh, because usually I know that I had forgotten that I had done Hey Jude, and I redid a whole new arrangement, and then it turned out they were in the same key, and I was like, wow, that was a happy coincidence. Now, if you're on baritone, you have a little bit different thing, okay? And again, ukulele players, there's a chance for you to play your chords on the baritone if you want, right? We're going to start on the 5 here. Hey, D chord, Jude, don't make it. A chord, get in baritone brain, da dum, nice 7th chord here, dum, and now when you do this, dum. Okay, slide that little, whatever finger you use on the 3 here, slide it up. Okay, use the string as your guide and give it a little bit of this. Anytime you're way up on the neck like this, you want to give it a little mustard. Back to the 7, bar 7. Okay, a little wiggle. 7. All the way up to 12. Remember your D chord with your pinky here. You pull your ring finger out of the mix. Index, middle, pinky. Okay, that way you can reach it easier, and your pinky isn't quite as strained. Okay. Okay, look at their A7 is right here on the 5. That's incorrect. Why is it? That's not right. That's the wrong chord. A7. It's not an A7. Hold on. I'm using my brain. It's hard. If I do what's 2 less than A7 would be F7. I don't like that one. Well, I guess we could. We could try it. Now that's a minor feeling. F7. G7. Here. G7, A7. Could just do all opens. All right, baritone players, give me a couple of days to fix that. This is wrong. Okay, so measure 7, the A7 chord with the 7 in the melody. I'm going to fix that chord. That's not a good one for you. Okay, all right, let's keep going. Okay, and then into the first inning. back. Second ending, same thing. Oh, isn't that nice? That's a very nice transition. These are really nice. Like when you are on the first string and you're up the neck and you're just getting clean, pretty tones, you're going to end up with a nice piece of music. It always happens. Back up to the 10. Remember, if you have 10-7 and then a bar 7, just get the bar on first, right? Whoops. Whoop. Oh, that's really hard. Alright, so you're way down here on this neck, right? Bar on the 9s, 10 and 11, and your pinky on 12. Okay, and I don't remember which song we were working on a couple weeks ago that had this in there a bunch of times. This B flat, pinky on 8. Okay, that's that. It's a normal shape, but now you're way up on 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then go back to the beginning. So you really have your work cut out for you in measures 20 and 21. Baritones, you're going to be way up the neck. It's going to sound really cool. You're going to have all this nice, beautiful tones. But those 3 chords you got to get. So bar on 7 with your 8. Bar on 9, you can tell that's your lowest numbers in that mess, and then 10, 11, 10, 12, and then this is really hard. Okay, so that's plenty hard. It comes up again in 22, and then let that ring out, let that be a thing, and then hey Jude, doom, doom, doom. Alright, so we got one bad chord in this song. Otherwise, this is pretty good. I will focus on getting that fixed here in the next day or two and get that reposted so baritones you have in Hey Jude, and then we'll play them simultaneously, right? So the ukulele will be playing their version, and baritones will be playing our version. If we can get all of us into the room together, it will sound magnificent. Baritones will have a harder job than the ukulele people, but we don't care about them, right? They need it. They're tough already. They'll be fine. So we got one bad chord. I'll fix that, and we get started on Hey Jude. It actually sounds pretty good, right? So, all right. Questions, comments? I don't even know why I asked that. Let's see. Next week we will drop Here Comes the Sun. We will play All My Loving and All My Loving for the last time, Hey Jude together at the same time, and then whatever comes after that in the list of the Beatles songs. A couple of them don't have baritone sheets yet, and so I'll create those as we go along so that we have those. And yeah, we want those of you with baritones and those of you with ukuleles to feel equal and to be really happy with what you're doing. Now, a couple things I'm going to ask of you guys. Let people know about Jolly Roger Ukulele. I did advertising for a whole year and it served no purpose, and so I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to let word of mouth be the thing, and I'm going to start posting a lot of videos of just me playing, so that, because YouTube's matrix is really weird, but let people know what you're up to, and let them know that this kind of fun. Beginners are on Tuesday night, you guys are on Wednesday nights, the good music's on Wednesday night, right? So come do that, and I would love to have more people just be involved in this, because honestly guys, this is this is cool that you can do this and play at this level really quickly and have these pieces of music. It's really nice stuff. So thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you, everything you do to make ukulele a thing in your community. Kat, Elizabeth, who else was here? Kat, Elizabeth, Rita was here tonight, and I'm sorry, Arksmashirkashmurkner is also here. I know who you are, I just can't remember. And it's really good to see all of you guys. Yes, and Rita is absolutely right. This Beatles stuff is good. I mean, first of all, if you're that generation, this is really exciting that you can be playing this stuff finally at this level. Like, this is high level stuff. And Alexis, gosh darn it, thank you, Alexis. I'm going to try to drill that into my head, and because Arkskamurskadursk is funny. And I will see all you guys next Wednesday, and of course, be playing in the Rocky Mountain Ukulele Orchestra online if you can. If you can't, you can't. But it is something. It's another way to get really good and really to be playing advanced, high-level music together with other people. Nothing sweeter than that. So, thank you for all being here. I will see you soon. Peace.